next door in the garden.
Soul is the essence from within. It is where everything begins. Soul is what you've been through, what's true for you, where you're going to, what you gonna do. Soul is your station for the folk of your nation. Something that you wear with pride. Soul can be your vision or something that is hidden. It's not something that you gotta hide.
Fintan is working on a sculpture. He spends 2 mornings a week sculpting here at the Journeyman programme in Carrick-on-Suir, getting any help he needs from John. Fintan lives in the Camphill community in Callan, County Kilkenny. The Journeyman programme is just one of many pioneering initiatives of the Camphill Communities of Ireland. Camphill has been in the Republic since the early 1970s and now operates 13 residential communities and a number of other initiatives for people with special needs. As of 2008, roughly 500 people live in Camphill communities in the Republic. At the core of the Camphill ethos is the recognition of the dignity of people with disabilities and a putting aside of their own material needs by those who care for them as part of the giving and sharing of communal life.
The Camphill communities set out to be intentional communities, in which people have decided to live. We call them life-sharing communities, and they're not really about being a service provider. They're about an attempt in this day and age to share life on the basis of human equality. And there are people with special needs in our communities, but they are really regarded as equal members of our communities. Our particular view is that every person of every sort is a unique individual with a personality, but also a kind of spiritual integrity. And the purpose of the communities is to recognize and to enhance the potential of the person to develop that integrity in their own particular way.
Evelyn also attends the Journeyman programme.
I'm Evelyn Martin. I live in Mullinahune, County Tipperary. I'm 23 and I've been at the Journeyman 4.5 years. I love it.
The Journeyman programme, based down in Carrick-on-Suir, is for young people who've just left school who have a disability, who've mainly been at school in the locality in Tipperary, in Morsford and Kilkenny. And our programme is a transitional programme to help move from that time when you're at school where everything's very secure, you know all the ropes, you've been there a long time, you've enjoyed it, and now you're going to make a transition out into something completely different. And a lot of people actually haven't got the foggiest idea what life will be like after school. So the Journeyman is a really suitable place for people who need to find out what it's like to leave school, what's out there in the world, what their interests are, where their talents are, and build up a volume of confidence to go out and say, this is what I'd like to do.
But while the Journeyman is a day programme, the basic structure of Camphill life is the residential community.
There's an old saying that if you want to know me, live with me, and that's applied here. A big part of Camphill life is the principle of life sharing. And life sharing means to share life in the complete and whole sense of the word. And you find that when you live in such an intimate and intense way with people, you get to know the real person in a very, very deep way.
All right.
Luke has been living in Camphill Ballytobin since his early teens.
Yeah, Luke is my second son. He's 20. He is a very unique boy. He was about 8 weeks old when he got a seizure, and that was the first indication of any difficulties. He went through a lot when he was a small child, the first few years with health issues. And I kind of made a promise to myself and Luke, somewhere within here in my head, that I would do the best I could for him, you know. And, you know, I felt that he deserved to have the best that life could offer, you know, education and opportunities and, you know, have a good life. Luke was 13 when he first went to stay, you know, to school in Ballytobin, and I suppose it was a natural thing, you know, coming up to 13, where he'd be going on to secondary school as such. A lot of things were pointing to him needing a change. You know, we liked the people we met. The farm was lovely. It was very homely. It was like, you know, a farmhouse really, with Wellingtons and jackets inside the door, and it seemed like a home from home. The first year was hard enough, really, you know, because it was a whole new experience for all of us, and it meant a big change in the household. But he had wonderful carers. He has made some wonderful friends, really. You know, that's one of the gifts that Luke has received in Ballytobin. Luke has produced some paintings, watercolours, poster paints. So it was just amazing to see this artwork coming from Luke, with help from different people that he worked with. He has participated in plays, in concerts, and, you know, lots of different outings. And his personality has developed over the years. I think Luke is more confident in himself. I think his self-esteem has improved. His health has improved, his physical health. And he's now, you know, quite a tall, strong 20-year-old. I don't think I could have imagined that he would have done so much in the few years, you know, that he's been there.
In our communities, people work without payment. We observe that if you're not being paid to do a thing, well, you have to find another reason for that. In a relationship with a person who needs support, who it represents work to help to live, to get their work done, whatever that might be, there's a kind of an existential change in that relationship if you're doing it for other reasons, which you have to discover. This working without payment has many effects. One is that in the sector of disability services in general, pay costs come to about 85% of the gross cost of supporting an individual. And for us, the question of being on duty and off duty, of the cost implications of staffing, those aren't really a factor. Which means that it's possible to have many more people, and you can also operate at a substantially lower cost. We are a bit slow to call ourselves a family, because it's really a community. But the picture of a family where how much time you spend together, brothers and sisters, and with their parents and with their nieces and nephews, that this kind of extended human community, if you started to analyse that by cost, if time you spent with your brother and your sister had to be analysed by cost, the whole game would change.
But Camphill has evolved beyond solely residential communities to meet new social and environmental needs and challenges, with the outlook now being to try to create inclusive and environmentally sustainable workplace opportunities for a wide variety of people of differing needs and abilities, in which they can develop their particular potential